Hi there, welcome to another video from Hegarty Maths. It's Mr. Hegarty here and our first problem solving video involving profit and loss. You'll need to remember your percentage profit formula, which is profit divided by cost multiplied by 100, and let's start straight in with some questions. Here's the first one, pause and have a go. So Sean bought a laptop and a printer. He sold both items for £1,350, getting 1,200 for the laptop. He made 27% profit on the cost of the printer, and we're asked what was the cost of the printer to 2 decimal places. Now the first thing is, you know he sold both for 1,350 and he got 1,200 for the laptop, so we can easily work out how much he got for the printer. He sold the printer, well, that must be 1,350 take away 1,200. That gives us that he must have sold the printer for £150. That's going to be very useful. So let's draw a picture to represent this scenario. We're worried about the printer here. So he got a printer, he bought it for some number which is 100%, and he sold it on with 27% profit. Okay, so here we've got 27% profit, and here was the original cost, which was 100%. We know that all of this, he sold all of this here for £150. Right, so this is going to help us work out the cost of the printer, which is this here. We're going to have to work out what 100% was. So here we know that 127% is equivalent to £150. So we're going to try and work out what 100% is. If we divide by 127 to get 1% and then multiply by 100 to get 100%, that will get us there. And we need to do the same to the other side. So divide by 127 and then multiply by 100. But we're allowed a calculator. So what we're going to do is 150 divided by 127 multiplied by 100, and we get ourselves the following: £118 and 11 pence when it's rounded to 2 decimal places. So this would give us £118 and 11 pence rounded to 2 decimal places. So it asked us the cost. The cost was therefore this, the 100%, which, as we've already said, is £118 and 11 pence, and we're done. Next one, pause and have a go. So Jai bought a helmet and a pair of skates, and the helmet cost £30. He sold both of them for £168. He made 120% profit on the helmet. Let's call that yellow. 127% profit on the cost of the helmet, and he made 40% profit on the total cost. What was the percentage profit on the skates? Give your answer to 1 decimal place. So there's a lot going on here. Let's try and simplify things. We have the cost of the helmet, we know the profit of the helmet, so we could work out how much, for example, the helmet was sold for. So let's start with the helmet, which I'll call H here. Let's draw a little picture to represent it. So if that was the original cost of the helmet, we know that Jai sold it for 120% of the original cost, right? So if 100% was the original cost, which we know was £30, he made 120% profit on that. So we could work out 120% of 30. So to do that, we use a decimal multiplier. We say 1.20 multiplied by 30, and that gives us 36. So he made £36 of profit. In short, what did he sell it for? Well, he sold it for the cost, add this £36 profit, he sold it for £66. Right, so that's very useful for the helmet. We have that information. Now, we don't know much about the skates just yet, but we do know what happened with both of the things. So let's consider both at the same time, what we're told. Well, we're told the following. We're told that he sold both for £168. So let's draw a picture. We know he sold both of the things for £168. Okay? And we also know he made 40% profit on the total cost of both of the things. So let's imagine there was a line there, and we know that he made 40% profit on the original cost, which was 100% of both things. Alright? So the question is, can we work out the why don't we work out the cost of both things? So let's try and work out 100% from that. I'm just going to go over here, try and work out 100%. If I know that 140% is equivalent to £168, in order to get the 100%, I could divide by 140 and then multiply it by 100. So I'd do the same to this side, divide by 140, and then I'd multiply by 100. So if I do that with the calculator, I'm going to do 168 divided by 140, and then I'm going to multiply by 100. So I get 120. So I know 100% is the same thing as £120. In short, this part is £120, and this part, which is 40% of that, must be £48, right? So it can add up to 168. So this is quite good. This will give me some information, because what I can do is as follows. I know that this cost is made up of two things, right? I know it's made up of the cost of the helmet, and the cost of the helmet we know is £30. Therefore, it must mean that the cost of the skates must be the number, it must be 120 take away 30, which must be £90, okay? And similarly over here with the profit split, we made £48 profit, but I know for sure that on the helmet, I've already worked that out, I made £36 profit, and that means that on the skates, if this adds up to £48 profit, on the skates I must have only made £12 profit. So at last I've got all my information to work out the percentage profit of the skates. The percentage profit of the skates, well, that would be equal to the profit I get on the skates, which is £12, okay, and I divide it by the cost of the skates, which are £90, and I multiply it by 100. So calculator out, 12 divided by 90 equals multiplied by 100, and I get myself 13.3 recurring. Now I'm supposed to round that to one decimal place, so that would just round to 13.3%. And we're done. So that's it for this particular skill. Thanks for watching.